You know, if you're anything like me, it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes when, you kind of sense that, church is just becoming, I don't know how to say it, just other than just to say it, just a routine. And I think that God truly has intended for our experience with Him through His church to be more than just going through the motions. And the Bible says this about creation, and I'm sitting in front of one of the most beautiful waterfalls in the world, Snoqualmie Falls. And it says that the whole earth cries out to the glory of God. And what it's really trying to get at is that when you see something like a waterfall or mountains or the ocean or something that's just majestic, it's supposed to say something to you. It's supposed to give you a picture of not how great it is, but truly how great the one who created it is. And I think that, oftentimes we need to kind of learn, that when people see something like, the Snoqualmie Falls, or they see the ocean, or they see the mountains. Here in the Northwest, we just have some beautiful, beautiful places to go. And, if you're anything like me, you don't get out to those places enough because you're caught up in your everyday life. And sometimes the everyday life is mundane. It's just kind of going through the motions. And Jesus warned us that even religion can become that way. And we're not to get caught up in the everyday mundane way of religion. And I think what's awesome about that is that to find something like the falls that I'm sitting in front of, you can't just kind of drive down the road and be there. We had to hike in. We had to take a trail down in, about a half-a-mile trail just to get here. We had to discover this majesty. And really what it is, I think, is going on the journey, realizing it's worth it, and whether we come to church on Sunday morning or we take Christ to the workplace with us on Monday morning, the idea is very simple, that we are on a journey to not just go through the motions of another religion, but to have a powerful, real relationship where we're to keep the glory of God and the majesty of God as part of our everyday life. That we actually are seekers of the presence of God. And by doing this, what's so incredible, the Bible says that if God be lifted up, and that's our job, if He be lifted up, He will draw all men to Himself. If we kind of drag God down, and we kind of make Him the angry God because we had an angry father, or the God who judges because we're a little ticked off that somebody isn't, kind of matching up to our expectation. I think what happens is as we drag God down, then what happens is we feel the need to put people down. And we need to put people down so that they'll maybe look up to God and accept Him. And I see it all the time in Christianity, where Christians are just hammering people, and there's an attitude of putting non-believers down, as though that will attract them to God. And I think the attitude should be, is that we are glorifiers of God. We are people that are impressed with the majesty of God, in tune with what it takes to journey into His presence, to enter into His courts with thanksgiving, to enter into His presence with an attitude of lifting Him up. When that takes place, all of a sudden God gets magnified and glorified. I think people from all backgrounds begin to look to God for who He really is, and they'll be attracted to Him. We don't have to put people down and say that they're nothing and challenge them about being so bad, so terrible, and so low. We just simply need to lift God up so high that everybody is attracted to Him.